that y'all like, subscribe, and leave a comment. As y'all know, we done talked about this stuff. We gotta talk about the money. We gotta get a little bit into this money. And they saying to be comfortable, we need to make a little bit more money, y'all. $233,000 to be exact. Which, let's be real, the average household don't make nowhere near that. The average household makes under 100K, and they talking about some, you need 233 to be comfortable. That's the God. It's a lot of folks uncomfortable. I know that much. A lot of folks uncomfortable. That's period. I don't know how much money y'all make. I know I ain't over that much. And I can tell you, I would like a little bit more. But the average household says they need $233,000 to be comfortable. Hey, let's talk about it.
The average American says they need to earn $233,000 a year to be financially comfortable. But in 2021, American workers on average made only $75,203 annually.
Now, I know for sure, y'all, those numbers have got to be like your household altogether. Because I know the average American don't make no 75. They say the average household. So like I said, them households, it's just not looking comfortable. Far, 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 far away. That's more than double. That's more than double. To be comfortable? I don't know. I can understand. I can understand where you're coming from, though. For two people, definitely. I can understand. It's tough out here. Housing prices up, inflation up. I think I need $233,000 to be comfortable myself. I know I need a little bit more to be comfortable, where I can do everything I want to do, not worry. Yeah, America, we gonna have to figure something out.
$1,203 annually.
Americans are sort of looking at how much money they would like to have to be financially secure, and that ends up being basically 3 times what the average income is in this country. And to be essentially wealthy or really successful, it's magnitudes above that.
72% of Americans said they weren't financially secure given their current finances. And more than a quarter of Americans said they'll likely never be financially secure.
By the numbers, their debt is lower and their savings are higher coming out of the pandemic, but they're more anxious about what's going to happen next, if they have job stability, if they're going to be able to have secure retirement.
With well over half of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, many are failing to meet some of their modest financial goals.
They just hit a lot of points right there, man. Paycheck to paycheck living. It's tough out here. It is tough out here. They saying to be comfortable, we need 3 times the amount of money that we making right now. 3 times. That's just to feel comfortable. Boy. It's not fun right now. I'm telling y'all that. It's not fun right now. Better get some money principles about you. Try to grow that shovel. Cause boy, and exactly living paycheck to paycheck. Said in the pandemic, everything was a little bit better. Everybody was sitting at home. You know, you couldn't do what you wanted to do. Less debt, more money in savings. After, debt through the roof, savings gone. It's looking bad, y'all. It's looking bad. I'm telling y'all, uncomfortable. Uncomfortable right now. It's not good. It is not good. 3 times the amount. We need to make 3 times more money as your house unit to be comfortable.
There are actually millions of people struggling. It's not something that people want to talk about, but if you're in a place where your financial security feels super precarious, you're not alone. And it's not your fault.
So
Yeah,
how did it become
for
so
sure.
difficult to be financially secure in America? And what can you do about it? Let's do some budgeting. Americans working full-time earned a median
Okay, budget. Y'all know I like budgets.
$1,400 during the second quarter of 2023. The average worker takes home 75.2% of gross wages after taxes and benefits, shrinking the take-home pay to about $3,308. And that just isn't enough to cover the cost of living in America today.
$3,308 is not enough for Americans these days. I know they're gonna break that down. I know some house notes, 2,000. 2,000. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Leave you with 1,300. Boy, your money is gone. Your money is gone.
Isn't enough to cover the cost of living in America today.
The cost of healthcare, that has skyrocketed. The cost of attending college has skyrocketed. The cost of purchasing a home has skyrocketed. But nowhere has anyone...
The cost of everything has skyrocketed. Home. Your home. The cost of school. The cost of living, y'all. It's all went up. I said inflation going crazy. I tried to get a car the other day, y'all. And the MSRP, they tried to get me to pay like $10,000 over that. Everything done went up because of inflation. It's crazy out here.
said wage growth is up 15%, right?
Take a look at some of the most essential expenses for Americans. The median monthly rent in the US is $2,029 as of June 2023. That amount already accounts for over 46% of the Americans' median pre-tax income. But most US agencies classify spending more than 30% of one's gross monthly income on rent as being rent-burdened. Meanwhile, the median mortgage payment for a 2,400 square foot house was $1,957 per month.
Y'all, this is just for your house. This is just for your house, just for living. They say we had about 48% of our checks going to living. And they say to be comfortable, you need to have that at 30. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. They need to come on. We need help out here.
However, a common rule of thumb advises spending 28% or less of your pre-tax income on mortgage payments. For the median gross monthly earnings, that translates to just $1,232.
As we talk to households and talk to consumers out in the real world, especially those, say, under 40, housing is the big issue. You know, rent, mortgage. It is the biggest concern that people aren't going to be able to make the next payment.
Inflation is really hurting individuals having stability in their housing. And I think sometimes we underestimate that if you have uncertainty in your housing, it causes uncertainty everywhere.
Housing is also the reason why cities have become more difficult to afford. Americans said it would require more than $1 million in net worth to be financially comfortable in places like San Francisco, New York, and Southern California.
This is why we've seen some migration or mobility around the country where some people say, I'm living in a high-cost state like California or New York. We really want to sort of pack up and go to an area that's less expensive. And one of the ironies of that is those places that were cheaper before are now becoming more expensive.
Americans spent...
Now, with housing, I know the young people here. I done said it, and I'll say it again. Roommate. Go back and watch that video. Single tax is hitting. Being independent tax is hitting, especially with that home. Go get you some roommates. Cut that rent and mortgage in half. That's what I can tell you. You don't need to be living in no New York City. But don't say that. That's what I'm saying. Get you a roommate. Y'all better get you a roommate. You can't live in single, live in independent. Not it. You're going to get independent taxed $2,000. Get you a roommate. And no, you cannot live in New York City. I mean, you can if you want to. You're going to have to pay that check. You're going to have to pay that check. It's a reason I don't stay right in Atlanta, y'all. I stay a good 20 minutes away. With traffic, boy, I got a long ride. I got a long ride to Atlanta. It's the reason I don't stay in Atlanta. Some of y'all staying in Atlanta, you don't need to be there. I do not feel sorry for you. Get you a roommate, move out a little bit.
On average, $690.75 on food every month, according to the latest data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That amount is significantly higher than any of USDA's estimated grocery bills, including more generous and liberal food plans. Add the out-of-pocket health expenditures that cost the average Americans $96.42 every month, and you get a total expense of $2,816.17 for renters, and $2,744.17 for homeowners. That amount already accounts for 85% of the median take-home pay for average American renters.
Ooh, y'all, 85%? They ain't even hit nothing. They ain't water bill, electric bill, phone bill, 10% to yourself. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. Shoot. Them prices, I do need 3 times more. Fun coming super last. Living just so expensive. You want to see me, you better tap into the Richest Steve in Atlanta, because you ain't going to see me out in these streets. I ain't got it like that. 85% just going. This is crazy.
And over 82% for an average homeowner. This is excluding other essential expenses like transportation, childcare, and debt payments.
Many Americans are really struggling with just the increase of costs of living and food and housing. Utility bills have gone up. Car insurance has gone up. Homeowners insurance has gone up. And how can they pay for them but also meet other goals that they have too?
Budgeting experts advise Americans to spend just 50% of their net income on essentials, 30% on wants, and 20%.
Okay, y'all. They got the pie graph right here. You supposed to do 50% on essentials, 30% on wants, 20% saving and paying off debt. It don't look like that. I can tell y'all right now, that graph is not looking like that. A lot of y'all got wants at about 50%. Your essentials about 40. And none going to saving or paying off debt. Let's be real. Let's be real. The average, none going to saving or paying off debt. And the price of living so much, that essentials is over 50%. It just is what it is. The essentials is over 50%. I'm about 70. Then folks ain't closing their wants. That wants is not going down. First thing that's leaving is that savings and paying off debt. Wants staying at 30. Folks want to push wants up.
20% on savings or paying off debt.
We see that allocation shifting significantly where people are spending 75% of their take home just on needs, which leaves very little for wants and very little for saving for your financial future. So depending upon where you live and of course your income, many Americans really cannot meet that target allocation.
So much of managing your financial life in America today is like drinking from a fire hose. I think many households are not able to show up and impose a framework of their own design onto their finances. Many are still in this reactionary space where they're just trying to figure out how to make ends meet.
The Federal Reserve has implemented 11 interest rate hikes to combat inflation since March 2022. But more than a third of Americans said rising interest rates kept them from financial comfort.
Higher interest rates really can stand in the way of affordability for many financial activities or decisions that people want to engage in, and home purchases is sort of...
Yeah, it do. It make everything hard. Credit is definitely expensive. Them interest rates crazy. You can't get an interest rate on nothing right now. Get a car, your interest rate out the roof. House, interest rate out the roof. And I hope y'all not using credit cards. That interest rate definitely out the roof. I pray y'all not using credit cards. Interest on life is through the roof right now. It's going up. It's going up. Like they said earlier, it ain't much help. We gonna speed this along. Credit, we know credit expensive. What can we do to help ourselves though? Help me.
Creating future financial stability in retirement.
The fact that many Americans are living in financial insecurity poses a big risk to the economy as a whole.
There's a reason why we measure and monitor very closely things like consumer confidence or consumer sentiment, because what populates those data points are everyday measurements like inflation and the strength of the job market.
I think COVID really showed us that households, when they don't have a level of stability and security, are actually the primary foundation of whether the economy can be strong or not, because we are so based on consumer spending in this country.
Public policy can greatly improve Americans' chances of achieving financial security.
So, for example,
I hope they're not talking about getting no handouts. Handouts do make me feel, EBT. I'll be eating steak and lobster for dinner then. I know why folks vote for that. That handouts do make it easier. Them pandemic checks. Ooh. That was feeling good. But I heard a lot of people who couldn't get it, they made more money. Getting them handouts felt good for me and you, but I heard some of them folks said they made more money than they ever made in that pandemic. And they wasn't getting the pandemic checks. So is getting the handout really what's gonna help? I know it ain't gonna help us reach that 233,000. I don't want that handout, if that's the case. Because I know I got the handouts and I ain't make more money than I ever made. Try to figure something out.
Social Security is the bedrock of most people's financial security in retirement. It's not the only source of their retirement income, but it keeps a lot of older people out of poverty. And we know that Social Security needs some reforms in order to maintain its same level of benefits. And then also anything we can do to make sure that employers are offering any kind of retirement savings opportunities, emergency savings opportunities at work, offering employees the ability to enroll in benefits, whether that's health insurance or insurance for life insurance or disability insurance. Employers are a key part of this too, and public policies play a big role in terms of what employers can offer and at what price they can afford it.
The household's willingness to work toward financial security is also important.
Ultimately, the answer here is
go.
that solutions have to be arrived at the macro level as well as the household level. And so at some level, we all need to try to own our own financial success by
Y'all heard them. Own your own finances. Own your own finances. Better get that budget. Get the saving. Start investing in your future. In your 401k through your job. Like he said, through your job. They might offer it. And starting now is where it matters. Because like they said, Social Security about to be out of there. Y'all know they want us to work until we 70 before we can start getting that? It's 65 right now. It's 65 right now. And I think that's a little far-fetched. I might still be working, but I don't want to be clocking that 9 to 5. 70. They trying to push it to 70. Because it's just getting out of there. It's not looking good, so we got to take this thing into our own hands, y'all. Start paying off that debt. Get you a budget. Step number 1, get you that budget. Start giving yourself 10%. And like I said, y'all, I do a little bit more than 10%. And once you just get in that, it come out automatically, it become easy. You start forgetting that you even need that money.
Managing our money as well as we can across the range of areas like emergency savings and retirement.
Financial advisors say the first step is to have a clear goal.
What do you want to achieve personally? What do you want to achieve at work? When do you want to retire? What do you want to do for others? And write that down.
But the key to success comes down to budgeting.
Everyone should budget. What we say is it's not what you earn, it's what you keep.
Come on, lady. Y'all speaking my gospel right now. Y'all speaking it. Get you a budget. Number 1 way. Get you a budget. See where your money going.
And so think about and have some transparency of where is your money going. And then make sure the budget that you have aligns with the goals that you wrote down. If you say you want to retire early, are you saving more to retire early? If you want to put your children through college, if you want to be debt free, are you paying more on your student loans? Are you paying more on your credit cards so you can be debt free? Make sure that your budget aligns with your goals.
There are actually millions of people struggling. It's not something that people want to talk about, but if you're in a place where your financial security feels super precarious, you're not alone. And it's not your fault.
Many people who have really high incomes and a lot of savings still feel financially anxious. So don't feel like this is your fault. Or
We gonna go ahead and end that out right there. Get y'all a budget, folks. That way you can pay off your debt. That way you won't be... Y'all want me to hit it? Y'all want me to hit it? That way you won't be 80 and at the Walmart. 80 and at the Walmart. Get you that budget. That way you can feel more financially stable. Send this out, y'all. All college degrees are not made equally. Grasshopper degrees, do not go for it.